Okay, so let's welcome to the webinar. This is the power of leverage, and the subtitle here is how my team sold 45 homes last month, and I didn't go on a single appointment. And actually, this is the month of May, and I went into the office twice. And we're in June now. We'll have our best closing month in the history of our team, over 50 closings, 12.5 million or so. And I will go to the office twice, and I will have four-day weekends this month. So I've got my father has some health issues, and my team's been, even covering my Tuesdays for me. So it's really, really cool. So this is all about leverage. So let's rock and roll here. So today's plan of attack, I have a lot of stuff to cover. I know many of you have sort of been on these monthly webinar series, the free monthly webinars. And I'm going to give another quick overview of the Lars Group because I really need to give all of you some context of where I've been and what I've been through. I've only got a few slides on that. Then I'm going to go through quickly our technology tools, my core marketing pillars. The thing I've done different than most agents that have failed to build momentum and scale their business is that I see most agents looking for a silver bullet, a magic pill, and they go very, very wide, but they never go deep. So I'm going to show you how I do things differently there. I'm going to cover some mindset shifts. I do believe, and Tony Robbins really ingrained this in me, that business is 80% psychology. So I'm going to go through the mindset shifts there that are required to produce extraordinary results. And then I want to get into how our industry is changing and how I believe you must respond to those changes. So I don't think you're okay just doing business the way you've done business, or you just kind of operating a traditional model. And then I'm going to go through some organization structures and kind of explain to you how I've grown in my business. And I've only been at this for 6-7 years or so. And then I'm going to take you through a really cool exercise. I'm going to ask you 3 important questions and give you an opportunity to really project your business into a whole nother realm of existence. So let's get started. Let me give you a quick overview of the Lars Group. So I got into my first full year in the business was 2008. I think I did 45 sides or so alone. Started my team late 2009, had a few buyer's agents in 2010, and then I think the end of 2011 is when I brought on my first listing partner. I had one admin all the way through the end of 2010. So I had one admin that did 120 sides. And I think I did half of those sides, typical sort of rainmaker production model. And then we scaled from there, and I got out of production. I got out of listings. I got out of sales and ops, the ops side of things. Really solid, simple, but solid organization structure in place. I don't have any day-to-day involvement. At this point, I was just, I love the growth of it, but I really am beginning to see that there's a sweet spot in all this where I can sell 400 to 450 properties a year, maybe elevate the price point even more than we have for our market. We're about 20% over our average price point in our market, and that's been a deliberate thing that we've achieved. But I'm starting to see a sweet spot there. So we really are working hard to achieve. I've been on 2 Disney experiences now, and this is our last one, a Disney cruise. This was a couple months ago. And it feels like they created this cruise for my family, right? So there's probably been millions of people that have been on these ships. And it feels so special. So my business, even though I'm not in it, everyone is provided service as if I were there every day. All the services provided in my name, and it's the Lars Group that does everything. We have scripts where everyone's saying, Lars asked me to give you a call, boom, boom, boom. So it's not even a traditional team model in a certain sense. So this is my production. It's been phasing out by design. Our vision, I covered the org structure. It's very simple, empowered staff. We work hard, play hard. It's a plug and play system. We lost a top producer, quote unquote, this year. And it was a mutual parting we just parted ways, and it was a mutual agreement sort of thing. So there was no hard feelings or anything, but our business just chugged on. We literally didn't skip a beat. The 2 months after this agent left is when we had our best month ever without any production from this agent. So it's not agent dependent. I love my agents, but it's plug and play. Highly driven Salesforce, we respect accountability. It's like the Super Bowl team, the hungry are fed. Provide opportunity for agents and staff and have fun. I go in for our team meeting and some one-on-ones. I cover marketing and finance, and our sales and ops cover all of our sort of meetings. When I bring up this chart, I get a reaction like, oh, you got so many people, you got such overhead, but I really don't when you look at it. So I've got about 4 or 5 staff people that will be responsible for 400, a high level customer experience for about 400 transactions this year. So Keely is my sales manager and Cherie is my operations manager. They basically replaced me in the office. So I used to be the sales manager and the operations manager. And so those 2 people replaced me. And then under Cherie, we have the operations. We have a buyer client coordinator and a listing client coordinator. We have a part-time sales and ops support person, Leah. And then we have a couple of virtual assistants that help us with listing, marketing, Craigslist. So really, Tia and Kara are doing the bulk of the operations work with a little bit of support from Leah. I have a part-time executive services manager, Jess, and she does, some of the advertising, marketing coordination and whatnot. And then the rest of it is our sales team. I've only got 1 local ISA and 1 offshore ISA that helps us on the seller side. Keely also doubles as our inbound. She books appointments on the listing side. So let's get into it. So this is something I learned early on from Danny Griffin. And it was just a real simple sort of graphic of leverage and how you can use it to achieve incredible results. The way this was presented to me at the time was within the context of listing someone's home and how we're able to get a good result. I don't use this in our listing presentation, but I love the model for my business because it's true. And we're going to cover marketing, technology, people, and systems today. So key marketing pillars. Hopefully, many of you probably have already seen this, but I'm going to cover it here real quickly. So real simple model for not only my business, but how I work with students in B school or consulting clients. So I do everything I can to cut everything out of their business and have them focus on just a few things. And if you really look at it, it's 4 pillars. It's some sort of online lead generation. It's yard marketing, doing yard marketing right. I categorize expired FSBOs and geographic into farming. And then 4 and 5 really go hand in hand. It's training my agents, my staff to bring in business and to have our past clients in our sphere bring business to us. So it's really 4 marketing pillars that drives our business. This is one of the highest dollar productive activities in my business is when I think about marketing and I look at conversions and whatnot. I started with direct response, even though I do more branded advertising now than I did when I first started. I still have a lot of less branded advertising and all of it's direct response. So I don't put anything out there that's just truly branded advertising. All expenses are held accountable. I think most of you are probably seen our marketing ROI tracker. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So here, these business blueprint tools for those of you that may be already in real estate B school. These are all the tools that I use. I literally use every one of these tools as the infrastructure to run my business. It looks a little bit more complicated than this because a lot of these I don't use very often. There's about 4 or 5 in here that run the core part of the business. But the marketing ROI tracker is a very simple way to hold your spending accountable. So I'm not going to go through it here, but basically I've since shifted over into the ultimate business tracker, but this is a tool that everyone in B school has access to. And we show you how to use it. It's critical to hold your expenses accountable, to know what's working and to cut out things that are not working. Super important. All right. All right. So that's marketing. So I think I'm gonna run out of time here today. So I got to really use my time wisely. Internet buyers. The trick here, it's conversion rates, and it's putting a lead management policy in place and holding yourself and your team accountable to that lead management policy. In B School, we give you the lead management policy. It's a 5 or 6 page document. It spells out exactly everything we do to get the highest conversion rates possible on our buyer internet lead business. So this pillar serves as the basis for building your team. All agents want our leads. And so you need to have an overflow of internet buyers. It's not hard, to generate online buyer leads, but the consistency of the lead conversion and management and squeezing that lemon is super important. Yard marketing, we have 3 signs that we encourage our B School students and my consulting clients to use. And when I went to this model, my call volume went up about 2.5 times. So doing nothing different on the same listing, if we got 1 call, we now got 2 to 3 calls. So we've got 3 yard signs in place. We use VoicePad, but there's a certain script on VoicePad that we use that we went from, just with that technology, we went from a 20% transfer rate. So someone pressed 1 to speak to a live agent, went from 20% to 90% if you used proper scripting on that one tool. And VoicePad outpulls the other 2 signs combined. So they did get about 55% of the leads are on that one tool, but without that proper scripting, it doesn't work as well. So farming, the bulk of what I've done here, I've mailed to expireds forever. Just started FSBOs maybe a couple years ago. Just added a geographic farm with Discover Pubs. One of my consulting clients had great success with that tool, so I added it's a 12-page color newspaper. Very, very expensive. I don't recommend, unless you're selling over 200 homes, that you add a true geographic farm, but I just mentioned it there. The USP we use, your home sold in 29 days or I'll sell it for free. The mailings I currently do are Haas Pratt. He has a series of expired mailers, which get a pretty good response. They're Dan Kennedy style letters, all USP direct response type letters. When I had a local ISA helping with expired and FSBOs, it really drove our returns down. So the bulk of our business here, and we probably sold about 25 to 30 or so expireds this year already. The bulk of that, 95% of that right now, we're just using an offshore ISA to help improve those conversions. So we have someone dialing expired and FSBOs now, but everything we've done is direct response. So people are calling us, asking us to come out to their home, which is a way, way better way to do business. Our Raving Fan Club, this is just the way we communicate to our past clients in our sphere. Got about 1,100 closed, maybe 1,200 closed clients, and this will be our 7th full year. We do quarterly giveaways. We do an annual client event. We're adding another, so we'll do two client events, a baseball game and a fall festival. We do the bi-monthly video blog. We're now replacing the jumbo postcard with that newspaper. We get surveys from all of our clients, which is super important. Let me pull that up real quick. I just think it's cool. This set of documents that I'm going through as I'm on the call with you, these are the same documents that our B School students have access to. So I think it's about 200 files that you'll get access to. A handful of these files can help you sell 2 to 3 homes a month just with a handful of these files. But here's a copy of our customer service survey that's sent out after every closing. Basically, we include a $10 Starbucks card. It gives us an opportunity to interact with those people. And if they had a bad experience, we can get on the phone and we can find out how to do better the next time. So we've been doing this for a few years now, and this has been a blockbuster for us. In the beginning, some of the answers weren't so positive. We were selling a lot of homes and customer service was not the focus. And we have dialed this in, and it's working exceptionally for us. And that's just the net promoter score is the question that we asked there. All right, Raving Fan Club. The stats, ROIs off the charts. Go for no. We know we have these referral cards. If you haven't seen my referral cards, just this one tool. Let's see here real quick. I could have had this ready. Our listing packet, all those documents are in here, the referral card. And so this one tool, I had a Cutco salesperson somehow get us to buy $650 worth of knives that we didn't need. But at the end of it, ask us for 20 referrals of friends and family members that might appreciate a call from a Cutco salesperson. After that, I went to my design person, Danny at the 320group.com. And I said, you have to design something that on the back, it has a spot for referrals. So we have 4 spots here. These are just trifold, heavy cardstock. Basically say we're growing our business. And we have a process, a system in place that we ask for referrals with this prop 4 times in the process. When clients sign with us, when they go under contract, when they close, and 30 days after. And this works exceptionally well. And it doesn't cost anything. Our addendum to all these tools are pretty cool, but let me keep going here. So that's marketing. I actually shared the stage at an event with a Kindle event with Jay Abraham. Guy's wicked smart. The cool thing about what he does, if you haven't read his book, 21 something, I forget the exact title, but getting the most out of what you do is basically what his focus is on. And this quote really summarizes what he's famous for. You're surrounded by simple, obvious solutions that can dramatically increase your income, power, influence, and success. The problem is you just don't see them. In real estate, it's like, everyone's always looking for the latest, greatest thing, and they're not focused on the obvious things that'll work. 4 critical technology tools that every business must have. Real quick, a real estate CRM, including a database, including database management, some sort of direct response website. These IDX sites like Boomtown, Commissions Inc. I use those 2 sites, and I also use Real Launch as my seller site. It does a really good job, my Real Launch site. I keep my website strategy very simple. There's no updating, there's no blogging, there's no craziness that goes on. We run Google Apps for Business. We run calendars, email, obviously, Google Drive, Google Docs. We've got the blog on Blogger. We use YouTube. All of that's integrated into Google Apps. And then we do call tracking and recording using ifbyphone.com. So those are the 4 technologies. Top Producer is the real estate CRM that I use. I've used it since I started in the business. It works super. It's just a really easy tool to use that I just don't know the reason why agents sort of love to hate this tool. For some reason, it's logging me out. I think because probably I'm probably kicking someone else out right now. So here we use it for listings management. So all of our listings, 21 million worth of listings. Our closings management. You can see we have 418,000 of commissions. This is down from about 550 about 30 days ago. 13.9 million pending. We use it as our CRM. So we search for contacts and send out. We can look up client close from any given year, my sphere, my Bridge Mill farm, which is the neighborhood I live in. So we use that as our contact management tool. And we also use it as our seller lead management tool. So those are the 4 functions that we use Top Producer for. Works really, really well. In B School, you're given all of the action plans that we use in Top Producer. Everything, the way I run my business is given to you in B School. It's not Top Producer specific by any means, because I just think everyone needs a real estate specific CRM. So anyway, and the bottom line is any CRM that you use is the one that you should go with. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on direct response websites. There's a right and wrong way to do some of these more expensive buyer lead gen sites. There are really good options out there. I use Boomtown and Commissions Inc. for my seller site. Most of our seller, the way we do listing marketing is that it's all branded. So, it's not named branded, it's direct response where they're responding to us. So either they're going to a website or they're calling us. So I can send them to this website. And you can see it's a pretty good direct response website where we have offers to get our 151 step system or our max payoff guide. explains our guaranteed sold program, shows them that I'm a nice guy. I've got a pretty family, our team. It gives them an overview of our team, really cool stuff. So that's a site that we use for seller lead gen. And like I said, my web strategy is very, very simple. I don't complicate it. There's no moving parts. There's no updating. Everything I do and everything I teach in Real Estate B School and in my consulting is a set it and forget it kind of approach. Google Apps for Business. Every small business should be on this platform. It's super inexpensive and it gives you a professional image, so you have your own domain name. And I just think Outlook and Microsoft, I'm just not a Microsoft guy. So there's having a separate program running and not having a web-based. And I know Outlook has now a web portal, but this is a very flexible system. I highly recommend everyone get on it. And then if by phone, I'm going to show you that real quick because this is a game changer. I've actually got it open here. So ifbyphone.com. Let me just pull it up here real quick because I want to show you what I use it for. So anytime I advertise anything anywhere, I've got a specific phone number attached to it. So I've got 26 phone numbers and they're very inexpensive. So there are competitors to If by Phone that charge triple, quadruple what If by Phone charges for the same exact. So anywhere I'm spending money, if it's in mail, if it's on a website, if it's on the radio, I advertise a different phone number. And so the benefit is that I can pull up and most of these reports are automated. They're just emailed to me. All calls are sourced. They're tracked, they're sourced, so they're sent out in a certain way. You can have them go to this person for 5 seconds, this person for 5 seconds, ring out to 5 people at once, and all the calls are recorded. So if we go back to the beginning of the year, this is their most simple report. You can just see where all the calls are coming from. You can see VoicePad, we have 714 calls. Our yard sign is about half of that. You see our radio, our expireds, our farm, Craigslist. We've been starting to advertise phone numbers on Craigslist, 129 calls, everyday open house, Zillow, different things we're doing. So anyway, so that's If by Phone, super powerful. I couldn't run my business without that bit of technology. Bill Gates tells us the first rule of any technology used in a business is that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency, which is the case in our company. We've got the systems in place and have the technology magnify those efficiencies. The second is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. Pretty common sense. So let's jump into some mindset shifts. This is the majority of my ability to go from literally no sales experience. I'd never sold anything before in my life to go from that, a solo agent with no sales and no sales experience, to now the leader. And I had no leadership experience either. So I'd never run a team in corporate America. I'd never had a staff before. So I had to learn how to sell and then learn how to become a leader. And it all came down to what I believed and what I thought in my mind and the shifts I had to make as part of this process. So I'm going to run through these really quick. The first one is business is 80% psychology and 20% strategy and tactics. I learned this in Fiji with Tony Robbins. I don't recommend going to Fiji. It takes like 24 hours to get there from the East Coast, US, and 30 hours to get home. The bottom line is that you need to be driven by something bigger and you have to have some emotion, some juice behind your big why. There's no easy path to building the kind of business that I have. There's really no way around that, but with the right mindset, the feeling and knowing that you can do anything, because I believe everyone on this call can do anything, you infinitely increase your odds of success. When we were in Fiji and we were up and like I tingle now even thinking about it, but we were chanting and I could probably cry thinking about the emotion. I'm a gladiator. This was back when the market was a little bit more difficult, but shouting at the top of our lungs, I'm a gladiator. Winter is my season. This is my time. Give me your fears and limitations and I will give you results. And we said this probably about 50 times in a row. And I tingle right now and I get totally pumped when I say that. But the bottom line as a business owner is that we are gladiators. Good market, bad market. This is my effing time. Give me your fears. So everyone else, give me your fears and give me your limitations, and I'll give you results. So we're stepping above the pack. And luckily in real estate, 90% of agents around us are a joke. I mean, they're just a joke. They didn't come into the industry with the right intention. They didn't want to build a true business. They didn't want to have systems and, systems driving their business, and it's hodgepodge, and it's even worse than mom or pop. So we're just in the right industry to do, and it's the right time to do what I'm teaching you guys here. So Tony Robbins tells us so many people know what to do, but they don't follow through. They don't take the action needed to get the results they're seeking. This is because 80% of mastering anything comes down to your psychology. Thus, the more you can understand about yourself, the more you can master sales, management, marketing, and business overall. Okay, so the second mindset shift that I went through is that you're a business owner. Even if you're a solo agent, new to the business, or 20 years in the business, you still own a business. Most agents are just going from client to client, focusing on the minutia of listing and selling homes. And I even see this in some team leaders. They think they actually have a business, but they're so focused on non-business issues. You have to focus on the fact that you have a true business. Unless you start treating it like that, you'll always have a true business. You have to think about the key positions and what needs to happen in those positions. If you're ignoring the fact that there are positions, even if you're a one-man operation, you're doing all of them. You have to produce monthly financials, track your source of sales, run a 90-day cash flow forecast, 90-day cash flow forecast. I mean, all the time, I know my financials, my actuals, my projected financials. I know what we've written, what we've closed per month, per quarter. I know what's pending, what's closed, the average price of everything by agent. I know the profitability by agent. I know my cash flow, the amount of cash I have on hand, what's going to be produced in a given month, my expense projections by agent. I know how much gross profit they brought in. I know how much net profit I profit by agent, their average price point, percentage transaction fees, the percentage of business that's team generated versus agent generated. I know their pay. I know all of our goals per agent. I know every bit of our marketing ROI. Every dollar I track is calculated into my gross profit, closing versus written. So it's a net cash on cash return. And I know that for every dollar that I spend. So this is the kind of clarity that as a business owner you must have. All right, I feel like a little bit soapboxy here, but just bear with me because I'm passionate about this stuff. Marketing, I think I went into marketing a good bit here. You have to embrace your role as the marketing guy. Like that's your job, is to bring in high quality leads. And that's where I think my business is way different than other even solo agents, but also team leaders, is that they don't embrace their job as a marketer. I think marketing is super fun. I've done a lot of Dan Kennedy events, his info summit, his super conference. Direct response marketing is absolutely the highest return marketing. You can do it branded and less branded, but it has to give prospects a reason to take action. You have to measure your advertising and marketing. You can't spend money if you're not measuring it. Super important distinction there. New business has to be the focus every day. Lead gen, lead management, lead conversion. That is the name of the game. Agents and team leaders want to complicate our business, right? If you generate a buyer lead and a seller lead, what's the process to get that lead in through your funnel to come out the other end as a happy client that's going to refer business back to you? That is the whole business. My business is surprisingly simple. And as I sit here now looking back, I'm looking over my left for some reason, as I'm looking back on my last 7 years, 7 years, I can connect the dots and I can even simplify my business more today, even though it's doing more transactions, because it's a really simple business. You just need tools in place, which we provide in B School, tools in place that you can use to track the different parts of, in terms of agent accountability. If you have an ISA, Raving Fan, score responses, internet lead accountability, buyer client pipeline report, buyer appointment tracker, listing appointment tracker, all these different things that you must have in your business as you scale it. And even if you're a solo agent, you have to have these things in place so you can put the proper foundation in before you even do more transactions yourself. So we have just really cool systems for getting business every day. Dollar productive activity, I already mentioned it a few times on this call. I made a decision early on in my career. I think this was my calculation when I did it the first time. If you don't have a copy, and I'm looking down at my stack here, hold on. I've got a stack of like 10 Dan Kennedy books, but he has a second edition, No BS Time Management for Entrepreneurs, which you have to get. They'll take you through an exercise of dollar productive activity. When I first ran the exercise, I calculated my DPA, my value per hour at 250. So everything that I was working on that I knew I could hire out, and it's not always that simple, right? Because you need to be consistent about getting cash in the door and being able to afford a staff member. But anything that wasn't, less than $100 per hour, graphics, working on mailers, anything and everything that I could get off of my plate, I was making money by getting someone to do it as long as they did it for less than $50 an hour. I was making $200 an hour by getting any $50 or less activity off of my plate. A super important distinction. So maybe your number isn't 250, maybe it's 100, and maybe the number is $20 per hour for you. But you have to have some sort of mindset shift around your worth on an hourly basis, because I promise you won't be working on closing files. You won't be putting out signs. You won't be taking pictures of properties. Very quickly, as long as you replace those hours that you offload with 100 or 250, now my number is $1,000 an hour. So I'm really picky on where I spend my time. And this goes around my house too, or even getting work done on my car. I don't bring my car to the shop anymore. It's not that I can or I think I'm above it. I just know that it's going to take me 2 hours to do that. And I know that I can have someone do it and just pay them to do it a whole lot less than it's going to cost for me to do it. So anyway, so just start thinking about this number. Go through this exercise and think about this number. I am so passionate about this one slide. Every team leader and agent, and it's social media is hurting a lot of agents and their families because there's so many shiny objects and so many squirrels going around Facebook, and there's nobody calls the person out on whatever they're saying. So if someone says, "Hey, look at this online seller lead gen platform, it's working like crazy. I generated 257 seller leads in the last 30 days. Nobody knows that person, their bank account, if their wife likes them, if any of those listing, quote unquote leads turned into actual listing appointments, if they're anywhere listed, if they sold a property. I mean, there's so many missing pieces of data where your BS meter has to be so high when it comes to what you let into your world, as far as what you might consider using in your business. That's not to say that I'm not open to new things, but most of the new things, the shiny objects, are just squirrels, and they're going to chase, they're going to get you off the path that you need to be on. So all of it leads to, you losing momentum in your business. Focusing your efforts on a few simple tools, it's always going to win over constantly trying new things. I promise you. You need to pick 3 to 4 marketing pillars and 3 to 4 technology platforms and stick with them. This is the core of Real Estate B School. It's going deep and getting high off the charts returns from just a few things on the marketing side, and leveraging the crap out of 3 or 4 technology platforms and sticking with them and scaling your business on a platform, on a foundation that is rock solid. Okay, so there are things going on in our industry that is going to, it may not be in the next year, 2 or 3 years, but ultimately consumers are changing and our industry is going to change. I don't believe consumers are getting the best service possible from agents that sell 5, 10, 20 homes per year. I believe the shift is toward, even if it's not, a mega team or, a team as big as mine, I believe the industry is going to be looking for better services than are provided right now. So the evolving consumer and its implications. So increasingly savvy consumers are skeptical of real estate agents in general, demanding higher standards of expertise and customer service while discount brokers compete on price rather than value. Today's consumer has more real estate information at their fingertips than all of the realtors combined pre-95. Increasing consumer knowledge has changed consumer expectations of the role and competence of realtors. Armed with greater motivation than the agent, which is 100% true. There's no one more motivated than the buyer in a transaction right now because it's their house, it's their future. In a seemingly endless supply of data, clients these days are involved with all aspects of a transaction. Not only does the public get shortchanged, but even high-skilled real estate professionals operating either as a solo agent or a traditional team leader cannot overcome the inherent flaws in the traditional models, even if they attempt to consistently deliver consumer value. So you have to ask yourself, that's happening. And how are you going to respond? Are you going to stay as a solo agent? Are you going to join a team that has their stuff together? Or are you going to, build, even if it's a small team? And I'll show you a couple org structures here that you can do that aren't, the size team that I have. But what will your response be? Traditional team leaders can generate more income and gain time leverage by distributing leads to their agents. However, these benefits are gained at the expense of losing control of delivering the value proposition as well as handing over the lifetime value of the client. To make matters worse, commission-based top-performing agents in the traditional team model typically leave to compete with you after they demand a commission split that exceeds your budget. Clearly, running your business like a business requires the CEO, that's everyone on this call right now, to implement systems, policies, and repeated processes to meet or exceed your net profit goals while maintaining control of your mission as consumer champion and the lifetime value of your clients. Too many agents get caught up in the trap of trying to be Superman or Superwoman. If you try to do everything in your business, you're destined to limit not only your income, but you're definitely going to burn yourself out. So remember, if you don't have a business, you have a job. So let's go through the three elements of a corporate model. Leverage yourself through better organization and delegation. The only way you can earn 500 to $1 million plus is to build a team, not a traditional team, but it has to be based on sound business. And I keep meaning to change. This is principles, right? Principles. I've seen that before. At the most elementary level, the corporate model has three key features versus traditional brokerage. Don't even get me started on traditional brokerages. Even though I own my RE/MAX franchise, I run only my team out of my franchise, or even traditional team models. So number one is the company maintains the client lifetime value and delivery of the value proposition versus giving up control to your agents. So our team, everything is delivered by the Lars Group. At the end of the process, our buyers, even though they work with one of our buyers agents, without us prompting them, they're saying how great the Lars Group was in the transaction. Workflow processes are performed by specialized employees rather than a jack of all trades traditional agent. Agents are transitioned from traditional high splits to much lower splits in line with the value they provide in the transaction. I can't get into it now because it's a core part of what I teach in Real Estate B School. I went in, it's like a 90-minute, 120-minute actually module that I go through in terms of building out compensation structures properly and a team structure properly for agents. But the bottom line is that the bottom line is in the numbers, the cost of sales. So if you look at my cost of sales here, and you may not be able to see it, but my cost of sales on my buyer side is 43%. So I paid out $349 on 805, 43% cost of sales. So that means there's 57% gross margin on my buyer side. On my listing side, there's 73% gross margin. So we took in 709 and we paid out 192. These numbers are probably a couple weeks old just because of the version I have here on my computer. But bottom line is that your margins have to be in line. Overall, our margins are 65% gross margins Most teams operate on a 35 to 40% gross margin. And there's typically about a 20% swing in gross margins between the way I do it and the way most traditional teams, which are mostly kind of just hybrid brokerage models. And I do it because our agents are productive. We have the systems in place, the lead management policies in place, where our agents are selling a lot of homes. That's the only way that they're going to make a lot of money. John is kicking butt for us. He's written 44 contracts this year already. Our lowest producer is at 17 written contracts. So she's having a slow start to the year, but she'll probably end up at 30, hopefully 40 transactions is her goal this year. Jen has written 11, and she's been on maternity leave for 3 of the 6 months this year. So if our agents make a lot of money, which John is making a lot of money, it's because he's selling a ton of property. And I make 67% margin on our top producing agent. Most teams are 20% swing there, if not 25% swing. On average, our team, 80%, 78% of our business is team generated. So anyway, okay, so I obviously believe in controlling part of this process. So let's go over some quick org structures, paying attention to time here because I want to have time for questions. Each one of these org structures could be your end destination. So maybe you don't want to have a team that you can walk away from and go into work twice a month. It is true, so I want to show everyone because I got some slack on this, and we actually had 2 fall out. So this was 45 at one point, but two contracts fell out and they get wiped out of the tracker. But 43 contracts put under last month. So it was 45, but we had two contracts fall out. But so let's go through the principal agent model. This was when I had Tio as my first admin hire, and Chris was my first buyer agent. And so this is just you at the top. You have 1 client care person and maybe 2 or 3 buyer agents. Maybe you're doing all the listings and you're offloading all of your buyer agents, your buyer agent business. You got 3 buyer agents doing their minimum 24, maybe 30 sides each. That's 90. Maybe you're doing 30 or 40. This is a good model for 100 to 150 sides. You can run it super efficiently, systems driven. The principles I teach in B school is 100% for even this model. When I I hired my first listing specialist, and I sort of gave a little bit, I hired 1 additional admin, a listing manager, is when I stepped into more of a team leader type approach where I had an admin team and I had a sales team, but I was still at the top of it. And I had listing partners, buyer agents, and I had client care people on the buyer and seller side. And that was in 2011, 2012 timeframe. And then the true corporate model is now I have a division of labor where my true replacement is 2 people, one on the ops side and one on the sales side. Sales side manages inside sales, listing partners, buyer agents, and on the operations side, all the client care and marketing coordination. So I went through this here. So that's kind of a visual of how our transactions increased as a result of the different org structures. And I've already showed you that here. Michael Gerber, Most Entrepreneurs. If you haven't read The E-Myth Revisited, it's a great, great book. And he tells us that most entrepreneurs are merely technicians with an entrepreneurial seizure. Most entrepreneurs fail because you are working in your business rather than on your business. Okay, grab a piece of paper. Look at the screen and grab a piece of paper. And I've got this cool technology here where I can see if everyone's paying attention. So pay attention. This is the part that's a life changer. All right, I'm getting the attentive score up there. All right, so grab a piece of paper and pay attention here. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I want you to actually write down answers to these questions. So if we were having a conversation, so say we were sitting down one-on-one 12 months from now, we're having a conversation, what would have happened over those 12 months for you to look back and just feel wildly successful about those 12 months? It could be personal or professional. So maybe you're working too many hours in your business. Maybe you're just starting in the business and your production's not where you want it to be. So maybe your goal is close 15, 20 sides. Maybe you're a team leader but you're still involved in production. So your goal is to get out of production. Maybe personally, you're not spending as much time with your wife as you should. You're not putting her number one in your life. You have kids that don't see you as much as you should. And so 12 months from now, you want to have quality time with them. You want to turn the phone off when you get in at home at 6 o'clock every day. You don't work on weekends. So write down health-wise. That's another, maybe you're not paying attention to your health. You're not working out. You're not drinking water. You're not moving your body physically. Your diet isn't where it needs to be. You're not getting enough sleep. So 12 months, what would have happened over those 12 months for you to feel wildly successful? Think about any obstacles you might have to achieving what you just wrote down. What opportunities do you have? And what strengths do you bring to the table? So what obstacles do you see to achieving that picture, that 12-month picture? What opportunities do you have? And then what strengths do you bring to the table? What have you achieved in the past, that got you to this point? So how can you bring everything, eliminate those obstacles, identify them first, eliminate them, and bring all your strengths to bear to make this happen? And if there was a process and a program that could get you to this picture and ultimately get you on a path to achieve what I've achieved, would you commit to the process? I'm not asking you to do anything right now. I'm not asking you to give me your credit card, but would you commit to a process if you knew that building a sustainable business that runs without you was the end goal? Could you say, I'm committed to being successful with this program? I'm willing to commit the proper time and resources to the program if you knew it was going to change your life, if you knew it would eliminate nights and weekends, if you can go from 7 days a week to 5 days a week to 4 days a week to 3 days a week, not working with clients, but still having raving fans at the end of the day, having more than 30% of your gross hit your bottom line, 35, 40%, and not having to work with clients. Are you open-minded and willing to learn from those that have done this ahead of you? Do you know that success takes time and effort? Are you a cool person? Are you not an a-hole? And so I've been hinting and alluding to it, but the Real Estate B School program is online. So that's the thing I want to talk to you about right now. There is no other training like this. So there's no training that I know of that's strictly focused on giving you everything you need to either a team leader and you may be selling 100 or 200 homes, but there's no sort of system behind it and you're still involved in production, or you're new to the business, or you're just thinking about scaling a team, or you've been in the business for 10 years, but you've never been able to get yourself out of production. And even if you want to be in production, is it systems based? There's no guesswork in what I'm teaching in B School, unapplied theory. It's only money-making tools and systems. I have very specific goals every month for cash that goes in the bank. So yeah, I have happy staff members. I have happy agents. Our clients are happy. But at the end of the day, I want to take money off the table each and every month. And that's the only goal of owning a business. Outside of all those other great things, and I agree with them, but at the end of the day, you're taking all the risk and you need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars go in the bank every year. And so today I'm going to give you a special opportunity to enroll in B School. Let me kind of run you through the program. It's a step-by-step system. It helps you build a real estate business with sustainable systems. So sustainable means that it runs without you. They're self-sustaining. So you can sell more homes working less hours. It's plug and play. Everything that I have in my business is provided to you in B School, and I walk you through it. I hold your hand to implement every single system into your business. If you're a new agent, there may be 1 or 2 modules that don't apply to you today, but they will when you get success using the other business principles. You'll soon be using those other modules. I've spent over $400,000 on training and coaching inside and outside of the real estate industry, ultimately, so you don't have to. Most real estate agents are not good at creating systems. I have an engineering background, and my personality has C in it. I've also got off the charts D, which is not surprising. I am good at building systems. Systems run a business. You need systems. I have them. and let me help you. You need to stop chasing squirrels, being distracted by shiny objects, and just downright let me show you what to do. Here's the thing though, your life won't change until you make a commitment. To build a business that serves you, you have to take action. You can't stay where you are just hoping things will get better. You have to take action. You know, having a gym membership, does that automatically mean that you're going to be fit and healthy? It doesn't, right? I mean, the weights are just going to sit there. If you have a gym membership, you pay it every month. You may go to some workout classes, but you could still loaf in the back. But having that guy in the white shirt, that's a picture of me in the white t-shirt there. Having him in front of you, and it's not a picture of me, by the way. I'm not that buff. Having a personal trainer meet with you and tell you what to do and make you do it and hold you accountable is the very best way to get results. So I'm your personal trainer through this process. I love this. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. This has sort of become my, not my battle cry, but something that I'm so proud of, that I've done things that most people won't do. And I'm now living a life like nobody I know is living. And so I've laid out B School in a way that you can take all the pain and agony, all the money I've wasted on things that doesn't work. You can take it and apply it to your business, put in the systems, scale it, bring on leverage in terms of people, and then kind of take it from even nothing and build it into something that's big that can give you the lifestyle and the leverage that you want. So entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So why am I doing this? I mean, the bottom line is that I've been there and I feel your pain. I know what it's like to work 7 days a week. I know what it's like to have a wife that is not happy with the amount of hours you put into work. I know what it's like to have her be pissed off when you're on your phone when you should be focused on her. To have a young child when all of this is going on. I've got 2 children now. I got into the business when it was a real bad time to get into the business. I didn't have any experience. I left an awesome job. I had a newborn. I was newly married. And so it was not a pressure-free time. Like I said, I literally tried everything and I wasted so much money. The stuff that worked and whatever stuck, I kind of took that and went to the next level, built a really awesome business that runs itself. Like I said, this month I'll go in a couple days. Yesterday I was in from 10 to 4. And it's a true business. There are so many examples of businesses that run without the owners, that real estate, for some reason, people think it's just this crazy kind of concept. And it's not a requirement of B School to exit your business, but it is certainly an option. We will show you exactly what to do to build a business that you can work less in and have more free time and spend more time with loved ones. At this point, I've done a really good job building a business and documenting all my systems and my tools. You have access to all my presentation, my buyer packet, my listing packet, all my presentations, every tracking tool I use in my business. I really am passionate about helping agents and team leaders avoid wasting a whole bunch of money and time on things that just don't work. Having the ability to look back on my business now and realize that getting rich in real estate sales is really boring. And this was a huge eye opener for me to realize that once you have these systems in place, they run themselves, because it's not rocket science, right? You have a buyer lead come in, you have a seller lead come in. If you've got systems to track those individual pipelines and ways that you move leads through the pipeline into clients, into raving fans, you just got to run those systems over and over and over and over again. And by not sort of messing with things and tinkering with things, it's your very best chance at becoming a millionaire in real estate sales. So I'm also the creator of the Ultimate Business Blueprint for Real Estate Agents. That's how I run my own business, and that's the training that Real Estate B School is based on. It's a buyer system, a seller system, a lot on building a self-managed team the right way, and then also a big chunk on how you step out of your business. A little bit about me. Like I said, I started real estate. 2008 was my first full year. I've coached with all of the top real estate trainers and programs, spending over $150,000 in real estate training, $250,000 on guys like Tony Robbins, Dan Kennedy, Brendan Burchard, Evan Pagan, Tom Wheelwright, a bunch of other stuff. My passion ultimately is my family. You see, this is like the cute version of our family. The reality is like, just all these goofy things that just make me laugh about my family. The up and coming rock star that forgets to put her pants on. She's wearing a pull up on her head there, and my son compulsively stands on his head there. So, some thoughts on quote unquote the ride. Every single stage of this process it literally made me uncomfortable. I had no sales experience, and I had to learn how to sell to people. I had no leadership experience. I'd never managed people before, and I had to learn how to recruit, train, inspire people. And then to step out of my business, I had never run a business before. So I learned how to do that, and I got comfortable. I identified two key people that could run the business for me. So I have been there. I don't mean this in a boastful kind of way, but I think people are drawn to me as a team leader and a coach because I'm real. The benefit of bringing me on as your trainer in this process is that I'm going to show you just as much of what I've done wrong versus what I've done right. So most trainers and coaches in the real estate industry, they don't have the real world experience. They don't have the battle scars. If you truly push them on what they achieved in real estate before they became a paid coach, it's not there. There's a disconnect there. I admit all my faults and I lean into my strengths. People want and need to be led. I don't mean this in a negative way, but when it comes to growing a team, you can step up as a leader, learn how to be a leader. And I teach that in B School. And there's nothing negative about it, but people need a vision. They want to be led. Despite my intense fears and my feelings of extreme discomfort, I remained focused on my single vision of building a sustainable real estate business. And my main takeaway here is that truly anything is possible with focus and consistent action every day. And having that roadmap, having someone take you down that path and keeping you on track and avoiding getting distracted with shiny objects and chasing squirrels is critical to your ability to achieve your dreams. But here's the thing, you have to decide what you want. I'll help you with the plan. I'll make sure you work hard and enlist, inspire others, and make this happen. Here's a fuzzy picture of Tony Robbins and I in Fiji. But he says one reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. It's really, really cool, and it's dead on. And I just, I think I spent like $75,000 with Tony Robbins alone, and just got so much from that relationship. But not everyone can afford to drop 75 grand. And so the principles here in B School will help you get there. So what is Real Estate B School? So I covered some of this here. It's plug and play. Everything is done for you. There's 8 step-by-step hand-holding modules. All the documents I use, all the presentations, all the tracking forms, in every part, in recruiting and team building and stepping out of the business and building the buyer system, the lead gen on the buy side, the lead conversion on the buy side, the lead management on the buy side, the pre-list packet, the buyer presentation, same thing on the listing side. Everything I do to generate listing leads, convert them, manage them. Our pre-list packet, our listing packet, our listing presentation, all of that's included. I've already covered how much money I've spent here. Bottom line is that if you want to build a business that serves you, you have to take action. So each of the 8 modules are broken up into 5 or 6 sections, and there's 120 minutes or so of high impact training. We start with marketing technology systems, stop chasing squirrels. So we go deep there. Then we cover the buyer system, sell more buyers in less time. We cover everything you need to know there. We give you all the documents, turnkey. Same thing on the listing side. List at your pricing commission. We teach you how to get paid more, how to get transaction fees. Team structure, begin with the end in mind. Recruiting, training, and retention. Filling the seats on your bus. Accountability and reporting. Being an engineering sort of nerd, this is really something that I just love about B School is the accountability and reporting. We make it simple and fun, but you have to know your numbers. Number 7, as you're thinking of stepping out of your business, how do you become a leader versus being a producer? Business is 80% psychology. And then 8 is performing at a high level in all areas of your life. So we talk about your psychology, your physiology. We talk about your productivity. We talk about your purpose. Are you present in life? We talk about your ability to persuade people. So there's 6 pillars of high performance we cover in Module 8. So some clients, so Andrew Altman says, if you aren't open to massive success, then Lars's coaching is not for you. He will extract every bit of potential you have into successful and systematic business. Jeremy Larkin, but more important than that, he's a real human being who cares about building his client's business so they can actually have a life. Lisa Harold is who's in 4 months this year outproduced her entire year last year. Said his passion for sharing excellence shines through in every calculated move he makes for his students. I knew there was a way to reach the organized, systemized structure that I wanted, but I had no idea, even after hiring numerous high-level coaches, how to go about it. Robin, I love Robin. She says, but here is what you must know. The real estate business is changing in ways of which most people are wholly unaware. Agents, brokers who are part of this transition are going to succeed, but beyond all their expectation. Those who aren't part of the change are going to be absorbed into the coming mega agents teams or marginalized out of the business altogether. Lars is my coach because he knows exactly what is happening and is leading the way for anyone willing to follow and learn. This is a long one, but a good one. John Mendoza says, using Lars' approach, I was blown away at the amount of things we were able to accomplish in a short period of time. Finalizing our business model, understanding agent commissions and the best way to structure compensation, discovering our team's mission and purpose, access to the tools and how to increase our referrals by 10 to 15% in the next 12 months, the most cost-effective return to increase our listing inventory, and having a specific game plan to help prioritize and put this all together into massive action. Damon says, I was throwing an amazing amount of money at different marketing programs with absolutely no idea whether or not I was actually making a profit. I was so busy being in the business that I could not focus on the business. After working with Lars, I had a clear vision on what was and what was not working. I knew where I lost $250,000 last year alone. I knew that I was losing hundreds of thousands per year on past clients in Sphere because I did not have an effective marketing plan specifically for them. I learned to hold myself accountable and team accountable to each other. 2014 will be my first year spent chasing dreams and not squirrels. We doubled our number of transactions this year, and we will do 400 plus in 2014 thanks to Lars systems that we have put in place. All right, so what do I get in B School? Here's the cool thing is that you get lifetime access to B School. So even if you're new in the industry, you get lifetime access to B School. No additional updated, fee or ongoing. This is forever yours. And I will tell you that the price of B School is only going up. So it's likely going to be 3 times what I'm advertising right now at some point. And there are 8 modules. They're running 120 minutes each module. I put conservatively each of those modules, if you truly get into the content and you put the tools and systems and strategies in place, conservatively, each of those modules are worth $1,000 each. You get a password protected member portal. You get the audio, video, and worksheets on each of the 8 modules. It's hard to really explain what you get in the Dropbox folder and Google Drive access, but it's literally every document and tracking tool, presentation, position agreement, everything I use in my business is included in the Google Drive and the Dropbox folder. Everything. So I had an agent offer me $10,000 just for my tracking documents. And this is hundreds of hours of my time that I use to put together these documents. So it's hard with a bullet point to really explain what's included there. And then you also get live Q&A calls covering any questions you have on the B School curriculum or specific issues in your business. So we run these probably about 3 times a month or so when I'm in town. It's on a Wednesday or Thursday. You have exclusive access to Real Estate B School Facebook Mastermind Group. So there's some bonuses here. I did an event. It was a 5-hour event on March 6th. I covered the ultimate business blueprint for real estate agents. You get free instant access to that live cast event. You also get 6 years worth of business plans. I wrote this report. You get that. And you also get a 30-minute one-on-one business assessment call where we'll actually work on a specific go forward plan for you. So that's included as well. That's a bonus for moving forward today. Every slide is running painfully slow. Here's the thing. You have to take action now. Go to getbschool.com to take action now. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So many of you, especially the haters on Facebook, they love to say that what I do is BS and it's not true. And I promise you that I've been through everything you're going through now in your business. I worked buyers, I worked internet leads, I prospected. This was only a few years ago. I built a team. I had no experience managing people. I broke through all of that. I found the best training in the world on each of those things. I learned how to build out the systems. I built out the systems. I stepped out of my business. I manage my business now with a dashboard that's very effective. So go to B-School, go to getbschool.com right now to take action. That's all I can say. This is everything you need to build a real estate business that's sustainable, that runs without your interaction. And this current pricing, like I said, is only for a limited time. You cannot hesitate. You have to take action right now. So go to getbschool.com right now and take action.